Hey guys, it's Mike the Baldadonis. It's Thursday, which means
It's Conspiracy Theories Thursday.
with Gary from the gym.
Right?
What's up, bud?
Hey, today's conspiracy is part of a sequence. This will be the first one of silent weapons for quiet wars. And this is about our food system, specifically on GMO, genetically modified organisms, our food. And here's the conspiracy. 1992 policy of the FDA states that the FDA has no basis for concluding that bioengineered foods differ from any other foods in any meaningful or uniform way, or that as a class, foods developed by this new technique, GMO, present any different or greater safety concerns than foods developed by traditional plant breeding. Okay, so basically GMOs is about greed and money. Greed, money, power. What is a GMO? They take the genes of one species and put it into another species to create a stronger species.
Can I give you an example of one?
Not yet.
All right, good. You bastard.
Yeah. Well, what is it?
A banana.
A banana, definitely.
Because the original banana had all kinds of seeds in it. It was unattractive to eat.
Okay.
So they genetically modified it to look like what is today.
Yeah.
You know, less seeds.
Same with a watermelon.
So what do
A
you
lot
want?
of people don't like seedy watermelons, so they've created it.
So it's seedy.
So anyway, scientists use a virus to break into the DNA of a plant, and then they insert a new strain, which and here are some of the things that are GMO. There are two types of GMOs. There's an they create an insecticide in the food itself, or the fruit of the plant. Therefore, if an insect eats the fruit of the plant, be it corn kernel or whatever, the insect dies. Its stomach actually leaks, breaks open, and the insect dies. So
what's that doing to us?
exactly. Also, there's another way that they insert a gene for plants that they can spray Roundup on it, glyphosate on the plants, which it kills the weeds, but not the plant that's growing, or the fruit, or the plant.
Yeah, fruit of the vegetable.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there are attributes that the reason they do this. I'm just going to give you a few. They claim it's for greater yield. We can grow more food. I mean, if you ever done a garden, you can see the insects eat the leaves.
Yep.
You're scratching your head, wow, I don't get many plants or fruit because the insects are taking over. So they come up with GMO, which just kill the insects and we'll have more food. So that was the idea, one of the premises. Part of GMO is to change the size of the fruit.
Absolutely.
Make it more machine friendly, so the machines can process the food or collect the food from the fields. Make no seeds in plants. Like you said, it's unattractive. But see, the whole purpose of food and plants is the fruit is the essence of a seed. So when the fruit falls on the ground and dies, that fruit actually nourishes the seed so it can regrow and populate. Well, with GMO seeds, there's no reproducing the seeds.
That's right. Monsanto's, you have to buy their seeds.
That's correct.
On a yearly basis.
Yes, and that would be part of the silent weapon.
Okay.
Because the only way farmers can get corn seed is through Monsanto. Other things, apples. New thing out in town now is apples that they want to design apples that don't brown if you cut them open or they break. Yeah. So, yeah.
I never heard that one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's in the news the last couple of months.
All right.
I mean, just showing you some of the attributes of why they would do this.
Sure.
It doesn't sound like it's a bad thing, huh? Peaches that have less mold and fungus repellent. In other words, they spray peaches. Peaches naturally have a fungus and a mold antibiotic. So this is why we eat it, and then that goes into our system, and then we can get rid of the mold and the fungus. But when you spray things on the peaches, they don't have to create those antibiotics or antibodies. So it makes the fruit less nourishable, less anti-growth. I don't know. It makes it less of a good fruit. Those are some of the attributes of a GMO. GMOs are patented seeds. I want to show you how this got into our system, how it's able to happen without, I don't know what I'm going to say.
See, that's what you got to practice with.
Yeah, no kidding.
We just do this. As soon as I meet them at the gym, we just go to video. So,
Right.
So it's okay.
So how this has come into our food system in the United States is that we have like the enemy going into our government agencies. You know, we feel as though we have agencies that protect us, the FDA, the EPA, USDA, and come to find out, a lot of the people who are in charge of these groups, FDA, EPA, USPA, from lobbyist firms of Monsanto, say, or biotech companies. These people are on the boards of Monsanto and other chemical companies. For instance, Tom Vislak, he was a biotech engineer for leading GM advocate, governor of the year, 2001, and a biotech industry association. Well, he happened to be our U.S. Secretary of Agriculture in 2009.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, Michael Taylor, former Monsanto attorney and vice president, FDA deputy commissioner in 1991 and 2010. Robert Beachy, director of Danford Center of Monsanto. He's the director of USDA and NIFA, International Food Association. I don't know what it is, but 2009. But anyway, there's just a few examples. The greatest one is Clarence Thomas. He's the Supreme Court judge. And he was on one of the judgments in the Supreme Court that's allowed seeds to be patented. So
All right, so let's go with this. How about we need a seed for the future, because if we're running out of food, we need something.
Well, that's the premise. That's what they want us to believe. There's plenty of food on the planet. It's about taking over the food supply. Those who control the food control the people. But anyway, with the copywritten seed, you'll find that farmer A plants Monsanto seeds, it's copywritten, and farmer B is an organic farmer. Well, the plants pollinate with one another, and this is a way you cross-pollinate, and this is a way to put other farmers out of business.
Yes.
Now, the organic farmer, somehow his corns have now been pollinated and turned into a GMO plant. Monsanto goes over there and says, dude, you got copywritten seeds, you've stolen my patent. And they're like, no, I didn't. Yes, you did.
Yep.
So then Monsanto takes these farmers to court. They make them in debt because these farmers got to hire lawyers and whatever. They can't pay their bills, so the farmer either goes out of business or he concedes.
Yeah, because the farms are back to back.
Right. So they're doing this all over the country. So, and it's not just corn that's patented, it's soybeans, it's canola oil, it's cottonseed, you know, it's a lot of vegetables and plants. So I just want to show you how that's working. Now, many countries in Europe ban GMO foods. So this is why I was talking about how we have the enemy in our USDA, in our government offices, allowing this to happen. They're denying it. No, there's no problem. This is because it's about big business, big farmers involved. Because if you eat this stuff, guess what? You get your medications. So. And also, there's about 50 countries that label GMO foods. So that's another thing this country doesn't do. The FDA and other lobbyists spend lots of money so that the people don't know what their food is. If you put a GMO label on it, you might not go for it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That's why I always say, read the labels. Read your labels.
Right. Well, there was a case in California that come out with this law about certain things that they put in food, and this was one that Pepsi didn't like. So he says, well, we got to label it. It's going to be the law. So what happened? Pepsi didn't put it in their product.
Which was?
I don't remember what it was. But the point of the story is because there was the thought of labeling something or putting in an ingredient.
Yep.
Pepsi didn't want to do that to make their product terrible, where people wouldn't buy it. So
Right. And soda, a lot of soda is made with corn, sugar.
right, high
that is-
fructose corn syrup.
which is a GMO.
Correct.
And that's why everybody's getting messed up. Now
Correct.
Pepsi, because one of my relatives
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I drink Pepsi now because it has cane sugar. They have
Okay.
a cane sugar Pepsi, particular
Right.
just for that. But the rest of it's all crap.
Right.
But it's still sugar."
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, other countries they ban it in their own. So why can't we do that in America? America seems to be one of the biggest, sickest country in the world.
Yes, we are.
And a lot to do with it has to do with food. So a silent weapon would be the food that nobody knows that they're eating. Okay, so what's in the food? What's it have to do with you and me? Studies in animals have found that GM food shows that it damages organs, infertility, immune system failure, causes holes in the GI tract, multiple organ system failures when it's eaten. So I'm just bringing out some points. The whole point of me doing this is that give you some interest to look it up. You can go GMO food documentaries, GMO food. There's plenty of documents of scientists, biologists, you name it, that tell you the truth about this stuff. And it's through avoiding this that you can become healthier and stronger. See, the whole idea is to make us weak and have our brains stuck on fixing our bodies. Right. And losing all your wealth to the big pharma. If you can avoid that, you become a little richer and you're stronger and you're happier. The funny thing about it is that we're taxpayers. You and I are American taxpayers. We're paying into this big fund, and then the government subsidizes corn or this GMO product. And one thing that happens in our world, there's this thing called New World Order. And how you do that is to make other countries submissive or poor or in debt. So we, the taxpayers, supplement, say, corn, for instance. We grow it at such a cheap rate, and then we go to sell it to other countries.
Do other countries even buy our food?
They buy our food, yeah. Because we can sell it to them cheaper.
No, I heard they don't buy none of our food. Who's buying our food?
Well, they won't buy the GMO food. Argentina, I'm just giving you an example of what we can do. Argentina would grow a food, but because the United States can grow it cheaper, we sell it to them because they can buy it cheaper, and then the people who have grown that resource can't grow it because they grow it more expensive. You see, this puts the economy down, and then they can't grow, they won't grow it because it's too expensive to grow compared to what we do, and it makes them either borrow money or not grow the product that their natural country grows. That's just one instance of taking over a food situation in other countries. GMO food is like 70% of the derivatives of GMO plants and food is in our processed and the food you see in the supermarket. So it's not. There's only X amount of GMO products, but it's the derivatives from that they, like you said, high fructose corn syrup, canola oil, cottonseed oil, all kinds of little other things. So anyway, what I'm getting at too is, what's this mean to us, or what can we do? We as a people, instead of like every October walking and saying, let's cure cancer and give the money to the chemical companies and whatever to figure it all out, and the doctors, why don't we instead go to our town offices or the government and say, let's stop GMO foods. It's not doing good for us, because that's how you get cancer, through the GMO food. Or insisting on labels. Let's get some labels on the food. You know what I mean? We have to work on the problem ourselves to cure cancer. That's how I'm looking at it. So this is just one aspect of a silent weapon that's hurting the citizens of the United States. And if Europe can go, most of the countries GMO free, then I don't see why we can't. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, and those countries all have free health care because they're not getting sick.
okay, well there you go. So
You know?
it's all intertwined. You know, the thing that blows my mind is, I know what I know about, soybean and GMOs. Well, the pregnant mothers or the new women that go to the hospital or the doctor to have their baby. Well, prior to having their baby, it's set up, the system's set up to where they get this free container of baby formula. And this has got all the GMO products in it. So the children, the babies, are already off to a bad start.
Absolutely.
So, if you do a little research, you can see that you can avoid this. That's another thing. You can avoid most of this if you just be aware. That's one thing we can avoid. Okay, you can try to avoid. They also make the food prices expensive so that you can't buy it, or that you're working too hard and you got to pay too much taxes, or all the bills are too expensive. So then, guess what you got to do? I only have this much money. I can only buy that cheap food.
Yep, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, so that food's made cheaper versus the organic.
Right.
That's why they can afford it. Like, I'm going to be doing a video about 1 month of my organic shopping,
Right.
and I don't know how I'm going to compare it versus the non-organic, but I'm going to do a video on that.
Right. Well, you're going to find that, you can get a batch of celery for 99 cents,
Yep.
conventional, which that
Versus $2.99.
$2.99. But see, they get being sprayed with the herbicide Roundup because they want to kill the weeds around it. So and it's the residue of the poisons that they use that gets into our system.
Yeah,
You see,
it's already in the soil, so it's
in the
already
soil, too.
goes through the plant. Yes.
Right. So you get it sprayed on, you eat it because there's residue. Or the other GMO product it's in the DNA of the food, and then our body doesn't know how to absorb it or do anything with it. And actually, they're saying the RNA is so small that chunks of it are actually going into our system, and it's being processed, and it's actually changing us genetically. You can look into that.
Well, look at America. They're huge. Everybody's huge.
That's right.
You go food shopping. I'm the only one that stays outside of the aisle.
Yeah, right.
I get my few things, and everybody's in the middle aisles, and you can tell what people are shopping for. You can see what they're eating, and you can tell what they look like. Their body
Right.
size.
Right.
It's like if you eat clean, you'll be lean. If you don't, and you're eating all this other crap, it shows.
Right.
It does show.
So I avoid that. I did have acid reflux.
Okay.
I did have problems in my tummy. And guess what? I avoided high fructose corn syrup.
Yep.
Corn, like corn chips. Everybody loves a corn chip with chili or whatever.
Yeah, it's all
but you
GMO.
got to avoid that. I avoid things that have soybean in it, canola oil, vegetable oil.
Yep, all garbage.
Right. And I found my body's a lot better. You know what I mean? So it's just small things like that that'll make you healthy. I had a colonoscopy a while back because I'm at that age now. And just the reason I bring this up is that the nurses there were asking me, okay, Mr. Lynch, what do you take for medication? And I says, no, nothing. I don't take any pills or anything. And they looked at me like a double take. What do you mean you don't take any medication? So this is what it is. If you have a half-decent lifestyle, you don't need this pharmaceutical stuff. And guess what? It'll save you in the pocketbook from not buying the meds.
Yeah. Well,
What?
You're right, though. When it comes down to you have X amount of money, you can only afford what you can afford to eat. It's
Right.
simple as that. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
it's either spend a little bit more money on
Yeah.
cleaner food
Right.
versus having health issues. So
Right.
what can you afford? Can you afford having health issues, or can you afford?
Well, I don't eat certain foods, and I'd love to have those snacks in my house or those crackers. I look at
it's garbage though.
right. I look at bread. If you look at bread, there's high fructose corn syrup and all these other. So get the bread that doesn't have that. That's a start. You look for the bread that doesn't have that, and it's on sale. You can grab that one.
I don't eat bread at all, and I tell people not to eat bread.
Yeah,
so-
right. Oh, that's another thing. GMO wheat. They've designed it so it's easier for machines to cut. They made it a sturdier plant. It's a lot smaller. That's what GMOs do. I'm not going to look into say how bad it is right now. I'm just going to mention it's designed to be machine processed better. So those are some of the attributes. So we're very intellectually smart as a country, but yet we're dumb in the most basic ways. So,
Right,
you know?
Yep.
So if we can just get GMOs out of our food system, we might be a lot healthier. We would be a lot healthier, and people wouldn't be marching as much about cancer and worrying about all these diseases they got, you know? So that's where I'm at. So it's silent weapon number one for a quiet war.
For a quiet war. Anybody all set?
Yeah.
So
I hope I did okay.
You did all right,
Kind of focused to one area.
So guys, next Thursday, we'll see you then.
Yes.
All right, Baldadonis out.